Hey, how you doing? My name is Octavion, and today I want to talk to you about how to choose your major in college. Um, this video is targeted to either incoming students or students that haven't chosen their major that are undecided, and this is just based off of my experience and what I wish I would have knew coming in to college. Because I'm a senior now, so I haven't changed my major. I added another major to it, so I double major. But I know a lot of people that did change their major, and I wouldn't necessarily say I would have changed my major, but I think going in to college, I may have chose a different major, and I think if I would have known more, and if I was more informed, I would also have made maybe a different decision as well for the desired career path that I have. I also consider changing my major multiple times, so I do have that as a background. But this video is designed to help those people who are in that scenario, in those scenarios that I listed. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, and let's get into it. So, um, how to choose? Well, yeah, how to choose your college major. For me, my college major was based off my initial interest in what I kind of saw myself doing. That's the thing is like you take high school, you take all the classes that you took in high school, and high school is kind of like a sampling platter where they make you take all these courses that you may not actually have really a whole bunch of interest in. Um, and then, but there may be one course that stands out that you take, and you're like, yeah, I can see myself doing this. I have a little bit of interest in this, and then you go to college and then try to further your interest in that, and then you decide from that point whether you either want you that is a really true passion of yours and you work on that field, or whether you take that sample and you're like, nah, I'm not really too much of a fan of it. I'm gonna throw it away, and I'll pass and I'll change to something else. That is the step by step process. So for me, I really had an interest in chemistry when I took it my sophomore year of high school. In my senior year, I could take a science elective, and I decided to do AP chemistry. So from there, once I took that, I was like, yeah, I got my little sample of the chemistry. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and major in it, right? So now from that you have to look. That's where I think I made the mistake at. Is I took my interest in that specific field, which I knew I was already good at, and then I just ran with it, which is not necessarily bad for everyone. Like if that works for you, that's great. But I would say I would still highly recommend making a list of your actual interests. That is the thing, is making the list of your interest, so then you see everything you have an interest in, and then you can decide, hey, I really have an interest in this, I really have an interest in this, I really have like a passion for these kinds of things. So then you are able to do your research and figure out anything that causes them to overlap, anything any career path that has them overlap, any career path that you know of that you want to do, and you're like, okay, well, how can I get there? Like those are all things that are super important when figuring out your major, because you can plan it out where you're looking at the end goal first, um, which is your career, or you can plan it out where you're taking it step by step. And for me, I was taking it step by step because when I chose to major in chemistry, I knew it was such a broad field that I was going to have a lot of options, and I just didn't know what I was going to pick yet. So that gave me a lot of options. But I would still say make sure to put all your interests down and then decide from that standpoint. Okay, well, I really have an interest in this. I really have an interest in this. Um, and garner which kind of way you want to play that out. Yeah. Additionally to that is like for high schoolers, this is more for reference to high schoolers. When you apply to colleges, you usually I would say I would highly recommend declaring a major, because going in undecided does put make you more likely to be waitlisted, and does make you more likely to be like denied. Like having a general purpose or general like idea of what you want to do is super important, even if you're going to change that later, because it's common that people just change your major. um like going decide like saying that, okay, I have this tentative idea. That's also why I say make a list of your interest and try not to go in undecided, because a lot of people do get denied or waitlisted because of that. So that's why I said, yeah, definitely make a list of your interest first and beforehand, and then from there, also look. This is another thing that I wish I did is look at the college, like the college that you're going to, or your it's your number one or number two, like that you're aiming for. Look at their programs. Look at their majors. Look at all the list of majors that you can get a degree in, and look at that list and combine it with your interest to make sure that they overlap and that they're going to get you to where you want to go. Because that's something that I did not do. I saw chemistry. I was like, I think every college has a chemistry program because it's such a big field or whatever. So I was like, I'll just do that. But that completely knocked me out of like I didn't know anything about like biochemistry. If I knew something about that, like the first time I heard of biochemistry was when I was in college. In our survey class, my freshman year, they said biochemistry. I was like, "What is biochemistry?" I was like, "It sounds like a combination of biology and chemistry," which I was like, "I probably don't need that because it's like, I was like, it doesn't really sound like it's like as helpful to me as chemistry." I was like, chemistry sounds like it's the end all be all. Like I was like, I can do anything with this, but as I go into like looking for jobs and other programs and things like that, it's a lot of like biochemistry related because of the field I want to work in, and so having the knowledge of majoring specifically in biochemistry could have helped me in that sense because I would have been more guided, and maybe I would have had the idea of what biochemistry was. I didn't know what biochemistry was. Truly, that's when I first heard of it. Was my freshman year in the service. I didn't truly understand what it was until the end of my sophomore year, so right as I was going to junior year. So I was already on a path to chemistry where I was like splitting off from the biochemistry people because they already had their class set. They had their set class schedules, and I had mine. Um, and we had our similar schedules for like the first 2 years. Our classes were pretty much the same people, but then we were splitting off, and I didn't understand it until the end of sophomore year. And at that point, I was like, well, do I change now or do I keep it? And then so I was contemplating that as like changing majors and stuff like that and how to choose that major. But I decided to keep it in case I made any other decision like to change what I want to do from this standpoint. So, but I still wish I would have known about the major specifically beforehand. Same thing with like other majors that are completely different fields. There's other majors that was that was related to like the movement of the body, like exercise science, where they took like a lot of kinesiology and physiology courses, which you learn about the body and the movements of the body, the physics of the body. Um, and I thought all that stuff was cool because you talk about the chemistry, you talk about the physics, you talk about biology. It's a combination of all the sciences, and it's just mainly work looking at the body, which is great because I'm super focused on fitness and everything. So that was super interesting. And like, there's also nutrition, which I thought nutrition was cool because you learn about planning diets and everything. There was also athletic training, which was cool because again you working with athletes and you working with the body and stuff like that. So like there's a lot of those, and then I had interest in like um, and economics. Economics is super interesting because I have like that business perspective mindset and real estate. Like that's super cool. So it was like I had a lot of interest, and this is why I think a list was really good because you can line up all those interests, and then you can look at jobs in those fields, and you take notes and figure your pros and cons. You can take all the factors in when you have a list of all those things. But for me, I just kind of straight shot into chemistry, and from that standpoint, I didn't really do anything besides that because I didn't want to like feel like I was gonna have to graduate delayed or anything. So I was like I kind of stuck on this path. But I had all these other interests that I think I would definitely have like if I could go back I would take if I could go back I would take the time to actually make a list and then go through all the possible majors that I could do and really decide what my goal is, what I want to do for the future, and try to get more engaged in that sense. And it's not even like that's the thing. Like when you go into college, you can also like once you already have a major, you can still take in like a class that maybe like a GE, but it's still in that other field that you may be interested in. If you really love that GE, you could end up switching that, or you could take another GE that's similar, and then you could take like these sample classes that kind of help you figure out if that's really what you want to do. I know like for Some majors you have like the engineering at my school, you have to like apply to be in it. So if you're applying to be inside the major, you have to take like all these like prerequisite courses, and that tightens up your schedule in that sense. But then if you have any extra space for GEs and stuff, you can really decide if you really want to do engineering or if you really want to take that poli sci class, and that could be your field that you're actually interested in, or you want to transition into like maybe some pre-med kind of like biology or something, or chemistry classes or biochem classes that may be of interest to you. So definitely recommend like kind of getting a sample as well. Like I recommend like making a list, number one, of like all of your interest, and then majors that kind of overlap with it. Take that list, look at the majors that's offered by like your top schools, the schools that you're applying to, see that overlap and that connection. And then 3 is take courses that kind of that will engage those interests that you have, whether it be a combination of the courses, or a combination of like the interest, or just take like a GE that's in this specific field that you may help you, or ask around, meet with advisors, use as many resources as you can to help gauge your interest and actually figure out if that's what you want to do. Also, like looking like online, looking at YouTube, and looking at like Khan Academy, looking at videos for content that like is related about your interest. If you like really are interested in it, you learn from those videos, and like you want to do practice problems or something like that. There's plenty of stuff on the internet where you can actually really figure out how that's beneficial to you or how it relates to you. So I heavily recommend that as well. So yeah, those are my main things for trying to pick your major and how to help you pick your major. I hope it helps you, and I hope it can guide you in the right direction. So thank you for listening. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, like I said before, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.